Welcome to Sikhcast, brought to you by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Jasleen Kaur, and I'm a trans creator on the Guru Granth Sahib project. We're excited to announce the release of Maru Kaphi. Maru Kaphi is a quiet and contemplative rag or musical mode associated with the colder season and with the afternoon. Maru also means to strike, and it denotes a kind of directness in word choice and tone. Kaphi is the Sufi expressive way of delivering things with great sweetness, so these two things together mean that Maru Kaphi is a rag of warriors who are drenched in love and of bluntness paired with sweet emotions that are beyond logic or explanation. These three compositions by Guru Nanak Sahib are collectively referred to as Maru Kaphi, and they show us how to reflect as seekers on our two-mindedness. So the thing that I wanted to tell you all about, as like the thing that I can't stop thinking about, is the Rahal line of Maru Kaphi, the first composition of Maru Kaphi. So Guru Nanak Sahib says, "My mind is dyed with my divine husband. May I be a sacrifice. May I be cut into pieces, if it means the divine spouse will look at me with a glance of grace for a moment." So here the Guru, again, as we've seen in other Shabads, is identifying with the voice, the feminine voice of the bride. And so all of us as seekers become these brides seeking connection with the divine spouse or the divine husband, IkOankar. And the seeker is reflecting on their state of two-mindedness, of coming and going, of sort of living in dichotomy and sort of not being able to decide what it is they're going to be driven by and live for. And the way that I understood two-mindedness when we were sort of working on this was it's both about like being of two minds about how you want to kind of spend your time and your life and what you want to devote yourself to, but also it can be walking around the world steeped in like dichotomies and otherness, like seeing people as the other, making judgments, and sort of continuously separating yourself from the people around you. And so it's in that state, in those states of dichotomy, that we are deeply unhappy and unable to find connection or comfort or steadiness. Like we're just being moved and sort of wavering. And we might even make friends when we're in this state, like, or like don beautiful clothing as a way to distract ourselves from our own sort of lack of comfort and lack of sort of satiation. But ultimately, we reach this point of great sort of desperation and hopefully of reflection, which is what I think the Rahal line is kind of offering us, is that like, yes, you might be two-minded and stubborn, and the mind is really hard to sort of rein in, which so many Shabads tell us about. But the Kaphi sort of aspect of this is the sweetness of this Rahal line despite its bluntness, which is the sort of Maru element. The thing that really stuck out to me about the Rahal line is just the like deep devotion of that line, of saying like, may I be a sacrifice, may I be cut into pieces, if it means that just like for one single moment, I will have a glance of grace from the one that I love, a moment of connection. That is so moving to me. And when we were doing the commentary, we couldn't really figure out how to explain it with words. Like it's just something that is that Kaphi aspect that's beyond logic, beyond explanation. And sort of the interplay between the struggle of like the mind and the heart, and also the bluntness and directness of Maru and the sweet emotion of Kaphi, it really like is woven through these compositions in such a beautiful and rich way. So I just keep thinking about what it would mean for me to have such a moment of vulnerability and bravery and honesty in how I reflect on my state, where I would be able to say this, something like this, have my heart sort of like wail in this way, and to ask for grace. And I don't really have an idea of what that looks like, maybe in small moments, but to me that is just like another form of like great devotion, is that even in our most sort of miserable and sort of dichotomous states, the heart can call out in this way, even if the mind is sort of intellectualizing everything and being stubborn. And so in a way, it's quite hopeful. So that's what I've been thinking about. Obviously, there's 3 compositions, and they're quite rich in play between bluntness and sweetness. And I hope you spend some time with them and find something, a line or a word or an idea that you can hold on to as you go through this cold season, and see what sort of calls to your heart, resonates within you, and see what shows you over time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Read the translations and commentaries at gurugranthsahib.io.
You are listening to Sikhcast by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.